What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Flippin Bats. It is Tuesday. That means this week in Shohei Ohtani news. Also, fair or foul. We'll even hear from Commissioner Curry today. And we both have a top 5 list, the top 5 most unbreakable records in Major League Baseball. This one's going to be a lot of fun. Let's get to it.
It's a blowout. 8th inning, 10-3. Bases are loaded for Verlander, who waits on a 3-0 pitch. He swings, and it's a high fly ball. Deep center field. It is gone. Home run. And a huge bat flip to celebrate. All right, Ben, start the show already.
I love how on Tuesdays we've just gotten into a rhythm of wearing our Ohtani garb, if you will. That's a word, right? Garb?
I think so.
Like the apparel you're wearing?
I've never personally used it.
Neither have I.
But I'll take garb. I mean, you figured you're wearing, 100 Ohtanis on your shirt. I might as well rock, throwback Angels jersey.
One's got to be loud, and then the other has to be, it's just blue. It's got the perfect logo. That's one of my favorite.
Same.
That's one of my favorite Angels logos.
The California Angels.
Yep. California.
OG.
That Orange County bias, John Heyman.
What is it? The California bias?
The
West Coast bias?
The California bias.
Better than California.
This Tuesday episode is always a lot of fun because it is time for my favorite segment. This week in Shohei Ohtani news, we're going to talk about his outing on Saturday, all the history he keeps breaking, and of course, my Japanese word of the day. But let's start with his start on Saturday. On the mound, dominated. 7 innings, only 3 hits, not a single earned run, and 8 strikeouts on the mound. Just another start of 7 innings and not a single earned run. It's truly unbelievable what he is doing to this point on the mound. You compare the 2 seasons. Last year, fantastic, unanimous MVP. This year, even better. This year, for Shohei Ohtani, has been better than last year when he unanimously won the American League MVP award. In that start on Saturday, on the mound, he also, in the first inning, hit an opposite field double, off the wall, RBI for Shohei. He also scored a run in the game. So, hear me out here. This is the epitome of doing it all. He pitched, did not give up a run. He drove in a run, and he scored a run. He's responsible for both runs for the Angels. They scored 2 runs, and he didn't give up any. So he was responsible for, the win was Shohei's. The win was Shohei's win. Unbelievable. He also made a sick play on the mound, by the way, a comebacker up the middle that he just reached out and grabbed with no reaction time. He just reached out and caught it. That was sick. So naturally, I took the time to say, oh, he plays pretty good defense too, because people, knock on, well, he's not playing defense. Well, guess what? Yes, he is. Turns out he plays pretty good defense as well. So in that first inning, he threw a sinker that was 101.1 miles an hour. A sinker. It moved enough to be classified as a sinker. He also hit that ball to the opposite field that I mentioned at 106.8 miles an hour. Now, I'll just say that has never happened. One player has never done both of those things. A sinker at 101.1, and a hit off the bat at 106.8. He did them both in the first inning. Come on. This is getting remarkable what he's doing. It has been remarkable, but he's still doing, which is my thing. Let's not get complacent here. He's still doing it. Don't let the amazement ever wear off, okay? Ever. Let's appreciate this while it's happening. He's got 148 innings pitched on the year now and a 2.43 ERA. A 2.44 FIP, by the way. FIP basically means he's not getting lucky here. None of this is luck. It's the FIP and ERA are basically one and the same, meaning there's no luck one way or the other involved. This is right, and his ERA is 2.43, which is ridiculous. A 33.1 strikeout percentage and a 5.0 F-WAR on the mound. His strikeout rate of 11.92 leads all of baseball. Pretty impressive there. So the history he's just continued to make every outing, every night, every day. He goes out and adds on to his own history. He is a walking history book, breaking his own record. We should have a book of Shohei Ohtani records. That's what we should have at this point. But it's got to be a digital book because it's going to have to be updated and a new page every single night that he takes the mound. 2.43 ERA and 196 strikeouts, an 892 OPS and 34 home runs. Process that. His 2.43 ERA is the fourth best in all of baseball. He's allowed 19 earned runs in his last 16 starts. 19 earned runs in 16 starts. So, again, in the history books here's a cool stat. Players with 500 or more plate appearances and 500 or more batters faced in a single season since 1900. Let's see. 2022, Shohei Ohtani. 2021, Shohei Ohtani. 1919, Babe Ruth. End of list. Guess what? Open up another page in the history books. Shohei's about to be on a new page all by himself. He currently sits at 593 batters faced. He has gotten to 600 on the offensive side. 600. Meaning, probably in his next start, when he hopefully faces at least 7 batters, he will be the only player in history to be 600 and 600. 600 plus plate appearances and 600 plus batters faced in the same season. That will be a record all by himself. Pretty remarkable what he is doing. And this stat here that I have for you is more just a fun one. All right. Fun stat incoming. Number of Major League Baseball players in history. 22,835. Number of players in history with 180 or more strikeouts and an ERA less than 2.60 and a 5+ K to walk ratio. 38. Only 38 players in history have done that. Number of MLB players in history with a season of 30 or more homers, 5 or more triples, and an OBP of 350 or higher. 147 players in history have done that. Number of players in Major League Baseball history with both in a single season. 1. Shohei Ohtani. Wow. That's all you can say is wow. Historical on the offensive side, greatness on the offensive side, greatness on the pitching side. You put it all together and you have Shohei Ohtani. That's what you have. Now, moving on in This Week in Ohtani News, as I have promised everybody, I'm going to continue the tradition of doing the Japanese word of the day that I was doing every single day in Japan. And Masa, my good friend Masa and translator, is once again here to join me for today's Japanese word of the day. Masa, take it away, my friend. Good.
Okay, today's word. You ready?
Yeah.
It's kind of slang though. Egui.
Egri?
Egui.
Egui. Egui.
Yeah.
Okay.
Egui.
What does that mean?
Yeah, like a nasty.
Oh, so it's slang
Nasty
for like,
pitch.
that's a nasty pitch. Okay. I've often wondered that
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I say nasty all the time, like Shohei is nasty, but Masa is also the one that does our translation for the subtitles that you see below. And I'm always like, what is the translation of nasty? So this is what you put.
Yeah, sometimes I use a kind of egui. Yeah,
Agui.
this word for nasty.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how would you spell agui?
E
Okay.
G U I.
Okay. So igui. Okay. I
Right.
like it. All right. So that
Yeah.
means nasty. So that's a nasty pitch. That's an igui pitch in yakyu, which means baseball. All right. So my vocabulary is stacking up here. I'm getting on a good page here. I'm also at this point going back in older episodes and just keeping up to date with my vocabulary. So at some point, I'm going to just put them all together and be fluent in Japanese. That's the goal. So Masa, you will be joining me once a week, every single week until I am fluent in Japanese, okay?
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
All right, my friend. Thank you, as always, for joining me. This is great. Igui means nasty, and Shohei Ohtani himself is definitely Igui, meaning nasty. This week in Shohei Ohtani news comes to an end with my Japanese word of the day. So, Masa, thank you, my friend. And that does it with this Week in Shohei Ohtani news.
All right, Ben, it is time for fair or foul. You ready to get this going?
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
Fair or foul?
We're starting with the Guardians are the AL team you don't want to face right now.
The AL team you don't want to face leads to like of everyone.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm going to say that's foul. The Guardians are doing fantastic. Entering Sunday, they had won 9 of their last 10. They're a great team. They're on their way to winning the AL Central, which nobody thought was going to happen. Big series against the White Sox coming, but the team you don't want to face, I'm going to go foul. I'd probably, Astros, Yankees, probably throw the Mariners in there. Those are probably over them.
Yeah, I'm foul too. It's hard to compare them to those 3 teams.
Yeah.
You just mentioned.
Yeah. But, good question.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Mm-hmm. Julio Urías should be in the NL Cy Young conversation.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. The NL Cy Young race is an interesting one because you have a lot of different guys that are doing a lot of different things well. Like you have Sandy Alcantara, who was the consensus favorite for a while. Hasn't been great, like as great as he had been of late. And then, there's some other pitchers in there that have high strikeout totals. And then Julio Urías doesn't have the, all of the innings, but he's got the low ERA, the wins. I mean, he's been great. So, absolutely, I believe that's fair. This was a great tweet from Fabian. Julio Urías on if he's allowed himself to think about the Cy Young race. Not really. Obviously, there will be opinions and people will say a lot of things, but I try to stay focused on what I have to do each start. Then those numbers will speak for themselves, and we'll see. That quote is foul. He's definitely thought about it. Come on. You think about it.
But that's like the proper thing to say.
Oh, that's
kind of like when Albert says, "Oh, I'm not thinking about those numbers and this history I'm making." It's like, no, you're always thinking about it. But yes, you want to put the team first. That's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
That's what you're supposed to say.
I get what he's saying.
Yeah.
I don't believe him there, but I do believe he should be a contender, a top contender for the NL Cy Young Award. That is fair.
I am definitely with you there. All right, moving on. Umpires are inserting themselves into games too much.
Fair. Hard fair. It's getting ridiculous. I mean, it's almost like they know they're getting phased out. Like, they have less, now there's replay. So their call doesn't mean everything because you can change it. And guess what? In the future, we're going to have an automated strike zone.
Yep.
So guess what? They know this. And now they're starting to just implement themselves into every single thing they possibly can. We saw it the other day with the umpire that threw out both managers within the span of 5 seconds. Why? Well, the first manager was arguing, Terry Francona, and then Phil Nevin gets thrown out because his pitcher, Ryan Tepera, wasn't allowed to throw warm-up pitches after that argument that took a few minutes. The pitcher just wanted to throw a few to get his arm back loose again. And the umpire said no. And when asked why, he said, "Because I said so." Are you kidding me? The pitcher can't take care of himself and his arm because you're getting your ego in the way? No. And we've seen that so many times this year. I'm tired of it. They're inserting themselves into too much. They're inserting themselves into places, into moments that they don't need to be. It's getting out of control. And there's really nothing that Major League Baseball, you say, just fire them. No, there's a union for the umpires that makes it very difficult. This is a tricky thing. And I went on a tangent, but the answer here is fair. Umpires are inserting themselves way too much, and it's getting ridiculous.
It almost feels like a theater performance where each one is trying to outdo the next. Like, oh, you want to go there?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll go there.
Yeah, watch
Let me make it bigger and better. Now we get to check pitchers for different substances. We get to talk back to managers. We are here for a reason. You better respect us.
Yeah.
It's not about you, guys. It's not about you.
If this
reminder.
Let's say this segment were about you only, we'd be on the line, the same page here, right? Every single one. Right? All three of these so far, we'd be aligned?
Yep.
You have the same answers I do? Okay.
I do.
Good. That's because we're smart.
Okay. You ready for the next?
Yeah.
All right. Philadelphia Phillies will not make the postseason.
Foul. Final answer and only answer. I think they do. I think they hold on. I think they're in over the Brewers. I'm not sold. I'm still disappointed. Despite the Brewers playing a little better of late, I'm still under the belief that it's going to be Padres, Phillies, second place team from the NL East. So I'm going to say it's foul. I like the Phillies. They rake, and I think they get in over the Brewers.
Same. They also have the guys to get it done when they need to in those big moments. So let's close it out with the final fair or foul.
All right, final one.
Albert Pujols and Aaron Judge will both reach their milestone.
Ooh. Albert Pujols at 698. Aaron Judge creeping closer to Roger Maris's record as well. I am going to say that is fair. They both get it done. Albert Pujols, Aaron Judge, lock it down, get it done. Pujols reaches that 700 mark, and Aaron Judge surpasses Roger Maris and easily gets past that number of 61. He's on pace for like 64, 65 right now. So I'm going to say Pujols gets it done, and Judge gets it done as well. That is fair.
I'm obviously fair because I have been pushing this for the last couple of weeks in my pick to click, hoping that they keep getting it.
Many people are saying that it's happening because you're picking it. They're both excelling now that they know. And Albert's like, well, I got to keep going.
You know what?
No matter how heavy my legs get, I got to keep going. And Aaron Judge is rolling as well. So wow, we were aligned. Everyone there.
Weird.
Great.
All right, we'll take it.
Look at us.
It's
Who would have thought? All right, 5 for 5. Fair or foul is always fun, but I feel like it has like a trivia feel to it, but it's always so much easier. I don't know the questions that like I do. I don't on trivia. I don't on fair or foul, but they're so much easier. Like, are the Guardians the team to beat in the American League? No. But then on trivia, come trivia day, Alex is like, what shortstop in 1923 pinch hit and got 2 hits on Saturday in April? It's like, what do you mean? Come on. Anyway. Enough about fair or foul. Always great. Next up, though, I'm going to toss it over behind me to a little bit of Commish Curry. Alex, take it away.
All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
So every year, Major League Baseball honors a man who embodied what it meant to be a leader, both on and off the field. He led by example in his community, giving back to those in need, all while setting records on the diamond. This man is Roberto Clemente. So yes, on Thursday, we talked about all of his accolades on Roberto Clemente Day. And yes, Major League Baseball has an award that they give out to players who embody what it means to be that great baseball player, both on the field and off the field. But as commissioner, you know what time it is? It is time to take his legacy one step further because this legend deserves to have his jersey retired. I say we retire number 21 for Roberto Clemente. You know why? Because he also encourages and inspires this generation and future generations to come to be that great baseball player on the field, but also give back to their community. Who's with me?
I'm with you.
Let's retire number 21.
I'm a fan of that.
It is time
The jersey I wore the other day on
Yep.
Roberto Clemente Day, it is probably my favorite jersey, and to see that retired around Major League Baseball,
Makes sense.
I'm all with you there.
It makes sense.
That's a great.
How has it not happened yet?
Yeah.
Commish Curry. We got this. Don't worry, we got this.
We'll vote you. I'm gonna vote you.
We got that. Okay.
All right, Alex. We both put together. Oh, you're back.
I'm back. Hey, welcome back.
Took off the glasses.
Yep.
And Alex is back. Okay, so let's get into. We both have a top 5 unbreakable records.
Yeah.
So this is going to be our top 5 most unbreakable records in Major League Baseball, and I believe I'm up first. So let's start. I'll start at number 5 with what we saw just the other day: Yachty and Wainwright, Yadier Molina, Adam Wainwright with their starts as a battery, 325 starts as a battery. Adam Wainwright pitching to Yadi Molina. The next closest active duo is over 200 away from that. Unbelievable. Kyle Hendricks, Wilson Contreras, they are the next closest, and they're nowhere close. So I don't think we ever see this one again, and it comes in at number 5 for me. Next up at number 4, Ricky Henderson's all-time stolen base record, over 1,400 stolen bases. Will we ever see it again? No. Couple reasons. One, the stolen base isn't as big of a factor in Major League Baseball anymore. Now, it might in the future because the bases are larger, meaning they'll be slightly closer. Maybe we'll see more stolen base attempts. But 2, nobody's going to do it like Ricky Henderson did it, ever. It's just not going to happen. So that record to me feels unbreakable. Next up, number 3 on my list, Nolan Ryan, 5,714 career strikeouts. Nope, never touching that one. Truly remarkable. One, he's known for being a strikeout guy. He obviously has the most strikeouts of all time, but he pitched so long. He did it he had so many strikeouts for so many years. He did it well into his 40s. So the longevity mixed with his talent and ability to just strike out anybody on any given night, you won't see either. You won't see the strikeout numbers. You won't see the longevity like that. I mean, the combination of both is what puts him at 5,714, a record that we will not see touched in history. Let's move on to number 2. At number 2, I have Cal Ripken Jr.'s consecutive games played streak, 2,632 consecutive games. That is remarkable. There are 162 games played in a year. So do that quick math.
Do it for us.
If I do that quick math,
Yeah.
it's going to... Why? Alex just put me on the spot here. It's going to take you precisely 15 years and 3 weeks to get this done. How's that?
Was it really?
I don't know. But it
Okay,
sounded good, right?
I believed you.
I mean, the next closest was Whit Merrifield had the active record going, and he was something like 10 years away from breaking the record, but he didn't do it. He ended up having a day off or got hurt earlier this year. So this is not close to happening. Cal Ripken Jr., the Iron Man, 2,632 consecutive games played. That's at number 2 on my list. So let's move on to number 1 on my list of untouchable records, Cy Young's record of 511 wins. Cy Young, you could make a whole list of Cy Young things. You could do wins, losses, complete, whatever you want to do. I went with wins because, one, it's positive, and BPG here, big positivity guy. I had to go with a positive record here, 511 wins. Cy Young. You know, they should name an award after that guy.
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe my Commissioner Ben segment will be
Whoa.
create an award named after Cy Young for how much he did. That's what we need to do here. First thought here on Flippin Bats.
Yep.
So that rounds out my list. We go Adam Wainwright, Yadi Molina. We go Ricky Henderson, stolen bases, Nolan Ryan, strikeouts, Cal Ripken Jr., consecutive games played, and Cy Young, 511 wins, rounds out my unbreakable records list in Major League Baseball. Alex, let's see yours. I'm excited for
Well,
this.
okay, so we're going to start mine kind of where you just ended.
Oh.
Familiar name,
Okay.
Cy Young.
Okay.
So my number 5 is Cy Young, 749 complete games. Ooh. I don't see that happening anytime soon.
No.
Also, just because the whole pitching structure has changed.
Yeah.
You have so many relief pitchers, you have closers, just everything changed in that sense. Plus, you'd have to average 30 complete games over 25 seasons. So, just a little bit difficult right there.
Okay.
Just a little, okay, moving on to number 4, also on your list.
Yes.
Was Yachty and Wainwright. And I know we talked about this last week, but it is just so rare to have one player be in one organization for that long, let alone have a teammate, a battery mate, also be on the team for that long, and then also not have a big injury.
True.
This is impressive, incredible. I don't see it happening again for a very long time. All right, moving on to number 3. Joe Dimaggio, 56-game hitting streak.
I'll chime in here.
Go.
I think that gets broken.
You do.
I do. I think at some point, I think that gets broken. I mean, that's ridiculous. 56 games in a row, but we've heard people get close, like it's got.
The last time was a 45-game hitting streak.
Yeah.
In 96, 97.
Yeah.
I don't think
it was over the span of 2 years.
Yeah.
So
I don't.
And
I don't
we've
see it
seen
happening.
so
I like your hopeful thinking. I'm gonna give it to you. We like to be positive and forward thinking, but again, injuries.
Yeah.
Pitchers.
No, it's gonna be tough. You're right.
Choosing to walk you. There's so many different things that can happen.
That plays a factor. But you'd have to be a real, for lack of a better.
Yeah.
I won't use the adjective I want.
Yes.
Walk, let's say they're at 55 games in a row. Oh, we're gonna walk them 4 times?
Angry.
Are you kidding me?
People are angry sometimes.
People
You
are
don't know.
angry.
You don't know what someone's going through that day. All right. Well, let's move on to number 2 because I'm really surprised you did not have him on your list for anything. Shohei Ohtani. We'll go with the 10+ wins, 30+ home runs. He's over that now. But I don't even see that record getting broken until maybe he is now inspiring that next generation of kids that believe they can be the next Shohei Ohtani and do both and get to where he's going. Because right now, as you said, he is the record book.
He is.
And he just keeps creating his own records.
Yep.
So this one.
You know I love it.
I know.
I agree.
This one might be a little more controversial. Barry Bonds' all-time home run record at number 1. We know what was going on during that time. Sometimes we don't talk about it. Sometimes we do talk about it. We'll get into that in a later little teaser here, later Commish Curry. But this, we're seeing greatness right now. Albert Pujols, one of the greatest hitters of our generation, just chasing 700 at the end of his career.
Yeah.
I don't know if we get 762.
You could have probably
broken
put
all time.
You probably could have put 700 on here. I don't think that gets touched. I agree. And I consider Barry Bonds to be the greatest hitter of all time.
Yes.
So 762.
Woo!
That is remarkable. That's a good list here.
We had some good lists.
Cy Young. We both had Cy Young. We both had this battery. Joe DiMaggio, Shohei, and Barry
This shocked
Bonds.
me. You did not have him on yours.
Well, it's.
He's all over your shirt.
I agree with you. I agree with you. All right, great list. I think that does it for today. Again, sad end to an episode. Another great episode. Alex and I have brought you this Tuesday episode of Flippin Bats. It is Ohtani Tuesday. I always rock the shirt because, of course, I always rock the shirt. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you like, subscribe anywhere you listen to the podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever. Follow along on all social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and you can watch every single episode on YouTube at Flippin Bats Pod for all of them. Thank you all for listening. This has been the Tuesday episode of Flippin Bats. We'll do it all again tomorrow. I will see you tomorrow for another episode of Flippin Bats. Peace.